the application.
Oh, and apparently we're being recorded now. Well, that's good for me. The notes are fine. So, all right. So we approved item number 2, option 2 to prune the cherry tree, just so I get this on the recording. And so let's find out who else is in attendance.
We have BW. Can you please unmute?
And then you can take Barbara out.
BW, can you unmute, please? BW is not unmuting, so I will move to Desmond Porth.
Okay.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I was like frantically searching for the unmute button. I didn't see it. I didn't realize you had to do something for it to show up.
No problem. What property are you here for?
17 Big Leaf Lane.
All right, let me find that on our agenda here.
Number 14.
14. Scrolling to it now. Okay. All right, and this is rocks to stabilize the yard.
Correct. There'll be natural stones. I think they're called Beaver Lake rocks, whatever that means. So very large or medium-sized natural rocks.
Beautiful. Questions from anybody on the committee? Patrick or Daniel?
Is there any requirement as to the type of rock or something like this?
No, not that I'm aware of.
I personally wanted something really natural, like something that will grow some moss on it. Nothing too synthetic.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's not a retaining
Yeah, I don't have a
wall or
problem with it.
anything
I was
like
just wondering if were you having actual erosion problems?
I mean,
Or are you just
I don't think-
anticipating it?
I'm anticipating it.
Okay.
There's a decent sized slope, like 4 feet from the edge of my house, and so the rocks there would prevent, like, you can just step off and the dirt will slide under your feet.
Yeah, I have a similar situation here.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
that's what the rocks would prevent, hopefully.
I don't have any problem with it. It's well within the property line. It's natural. It's not over what I forget what our engineering requirement is for walls. I think it's over 4 feet, so it's not going to be that tall.
Correct.
Yeah. So I just need a motion.
I move it be approved.
All right. And a second.
Second,
All right. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. So you're good to go. Item 14 is approved.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your
Yeah,
time.
thank you.
Okay, next up is Michael Adicott. Michael, can you unmute?
Michael, are you there? Oh, maybe not.
Okay, moving along to Stacey Albright.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
All right. And what property are you here for?
I'm at number 7 Tumbling Water Drive.
7 Tumbling Water Drive.
Item
All right.
3.
Oh, item 3. Yep. And you're looking for tree removals.
2 trees.
Yeah, the maple and the cottonwood, right?
Right.
All right, does anybody have questions for Miss Albright?
No, she gave us a lot of information. I think we requested more information last time we met, and we've got a lot of it now, and I think it looks good.
Yeah, I
Okay.
drove by there and looked at it and, you know, they're really exposed and, you know, on that slope. So,
Thank you.
So I just need a motion at this point.
Move to approve.
Okay, and a second.
second,
All right, and all those in favor?
All right.
Everybody here? So, okay, so you're approved. I think the only caveat to that is, just for is it the maple that's got a 2-foot diameter? Just make sure you have the proper county permit to associate with it.
Okay, I
and
think
as long
that's
as
the
you're good to
the
go
cottonwood
there-
is the bigger one.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm reading it backwards here. Yeah, but you're right. The one that has the larger diameter needs a county permit.
Okay.
So
I-
other than that, good to go.
Okay, I have one other question though. So was it determined that it wasn't in the right of way? Is that,
They didn't appear to be in the right of way from what I saw.
okay,
I just live on the other side of Gate 5, so I drive by there all the time.
yeah, okay. Well, I was just
Um,
curious because Sudden Valley had limbed up the trees that were right next to it a couple of years ago. So I thought, oh, well, maybe it's in the right of way.
I remember that a couple years ago they were doing it was more of a Firewise limbing where they were trying to limb everything within, I want to say 25 feet of the road.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they were doing, was coming around and doing that. But I don't think the 25 feet is the actual right of way in most
Okay.
parts of Sudden Valley. It's usually around 10 feet from the road is the actual right of way for utility corridors and other things.
I see. Okay. All right. Thanks for the explanation.
Yeah, not a problem. And if there's ever a question, that'd be our maintenance staff can come out and determine like the exact area. I mean, you should have a property stake somewhere in the general vicinity. That makes it a little easier to locate the rights of way, but
Okay.
yeah, where the trees are, I can't imagine that anybody would need that for utility or anything like that. It's a little far away.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great. Thank you for your time.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, so item 3 is approved. All right, anybody else waiting other than BW?
No, just BW, and they've been asked to unmute. Hello, if you can unmute, that would be great.
Okay, well, let's just move on to item number 4 then.
Okay.
And we'll just work our way through it. So 29 Grandview Lane, exterior alteration request. And let's see, that's the 8 by 23 architectural feature. Oh yeah, I went by and looked at this. This looked pretty interesting. So the way I read this, it looked to me like this is a floating deck. Did everyone else read it the same way?
yes. And it's at the back, correct?
Yeah, back sort of, yeah, the back corner of the house. I mean, he provided a whole lot of information. I don't think we necessarily needed all of it. Because if it's detached, it doesn't typically fall into permittable projects, especially because it said it's below 30 inches from the ground. I don't have a problem with it. It looks like he's done a lot of research and he's going to build a pretty nice little deck there. Any other comments?
No, it looks good to me.
Yeah, and because the best part immediately, again, this is just having dealt with decks and stuff. If it's detached and it ever becomes an issue, you can just pop it up and move it if he needs to, or cut a piece off if he needs to. You know, whatever needs to happen. Detached decks are pretty easy to maintain. So just need a motion for what we're gonna do.
Move to approve.
All right.
Second.
Patrick will second. So it carries. We will approve item number 4. And let's see, the next one, item number 5 is for 56 Marigold Drive. Exterior alteration request. The way I looked at it though, they're just looking to replace their existing deck with like materials. It wasn't going to change significantly other than
Right.
color.
Yeah, they definitely need a
so-
new one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's in rough shape. It's been there a while. So I would move to approve that. I don't have any issues. The colors are going to be nice. And it's going to be a similar construction. It's not going to, change shape, size, and get all squirrely.
Yeah, I second.
Okay, all those in favor?
right.
All right. Item 5 is approved. And thank you very much for the very nice submission. I liked all the pictures and details. That was very helpful. Item number 6, 17 Marigold Drive. And let's see, this was a 6x10 deck connected to the front steps. So basically just replacing those steps, it looks like, or I'm sorry, coming off of the steps. The only question I had was how big it was going to be, or I mean, how high off the ground it was going to be. But the only way that makes
Now,
sense.
this
is if
was
it's
approved
off.
already, wasn't it? Was
Did
this
we?
approved previously?
Yeah, on May 12th of 2021.
Yeah, I think we did. It's just about to expire from the original approval, right?
Right.
So
Yeah, well,
if
it's 2
everybody's
years.
okay, we can just
Almost
reapprove it.
Years later.
Oh, is it 2 years? Oh,
Yeah,
I was thinking, okay, yeah. So
Approved 2021.
either way, yeah, they must have never gotten stopped or started. So I'm okay with it. If anybody else has any issues,
I'm okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'd call it a small front porch. So be nice. So item number 6, the reapproval is approved. So let me write that down. 6 is approved. Good luck with your front deck there. Approved. Hopefully this time time doesn't run out on it. All right, so item number 7. They're just replacing with Trex, right? So again, I don't have any issues with that.
No,
Uh,
7.
Yeah, it'll be a welcome improvement
Oh.
for them, I would imagine. That's the red one that was kind of starting to rot in the corners. So I'll move to approve that. Just need a second.
I second. I was looking at the color, actually. I was looking to see
Oh.
if that,
It's a brown
It's-
Trex.
it's a Trex color, right?
Yeah, it's the one that they had in the picture is brown.
Okay.
Okay, so all those in favor of 36 Rocky Ridge Drive.
Aye.
All right, so item number 7 is approved. New decking at 36 Rocky Ridge. Right. On to item number 8, which is 63 Harborview Drive. They're wanting to do a 22-foot wide driveway from the house to the street. So I think
There are actually 3 requests that they're doing.
yeah, I'm seeing the driveways first, and then
And then a parking lot.
in the parking lot in front, and then stairs was the third.
Yeah. So I think, so let's address the driveway first. So that's the first one I have here. So typically, I guess I'm confused. This one I didn't get to go by. Is this new construction? And there's not already
Yeah.
a driveway?
I think it's just a lot.
It does have a slab there already, or no?
I didn't see that on, I only looked at it through Google Earth, but I didn't see anything there yet.
I mean, the real question, so typically driveways are limited to 20 feet, I believe. That's our standard in the construction. So I would have thought we would have covered this if this was a new construction approval, because these are construction change requests.
Right.
So what I'm thinking is I'd like to see the notes from the original construction request and what was discussed at that time. Only because I can't recall if we had a discussion about the wider driveway and maybe we didn't approve that at the time, at the construction request. The parking lot that they want to do, that's definitely in Sudden Valley right of way. And so that would have to be approved by staff. So there's for that, or the parking space, sorry, I shouldn't say parking lot, but the space.
What about that retaining wall? If that's on their
Well,
property,
that's what I'm looking at, is exactly where that retaining wall would be. Cause that's to create the parking area, right? Yeah, on the back side of the parking area. So we'd have to see exactly where that's gonna be, because if you look at the sketch, the item 8.1.
Right.
It looks like the retaining wall and parking area would both be within Sudden Valley right away. I mean, that's what it appears to me, which would require SVCA approval for, I mean, that retaining wall would have to be a permanent structure to hold back a parking area. So there'd have to be some engineering and some plans submitted for that. And that would have to be approved and signed off on by SVCA staff.
Well,
The
and looking at,
driveway- Oh, go ahead.
in looking at 8.1, where it has the drawing, how can you tell how
Yeah.
far the right of way goes up from Harbor View Drive?
Well, so I'm reading it as the dashed line, the rectangle around the house. I'm reading
Okay.
that as the property line.
Oh, all right.
I could be wrong. That might not be, but I'm assuming most of the drawings, that's what it indicates. And I've seen houses that are that far set back that far too. Because Sudden Valley might own a keyway in front of them. In fact, my house is like that. The property across the street from me, the property line is 20 feet back from the street. So he has to build a driveway. He has to set his house 20 feet back from the property line, and then his property is another 20 feet from the street as well. So he's got to build a 40-foot long driveway. So the only thing I would say is I would want to defer the first one, but the other two are going to require engineering plans and approval from SVCA staff. And that's item 9 and item what's the other one? Item 10.
10.
Yeah, item 9 and 10 are going to require submittals and approval. Actually, sorry, take that back. The stairs are a different request. That's item 10.
Right.
So he wants to add stairs from the front porch to the ground. I don't have a problem with the stairs. I think we could approve that because that's part of the construction.
You know, it makes it seem as though the house is already built and they just want to add these stairs to it.
Yeah, because it's a variance
Okay.
request.
Although it says new construction.
Yeah, I don't know why you would need a variance for the stairs unless they encroach on the setback of the property. Maybe the stairs in the back of the property are within the 5-foot setback. But if they're is he gonna do concrete stairs or is he gonna do wooden stairs?
Yeah, that's what I wasn't clear about. What will it be built from?
No, I think what they're gonna be like railroad ties with the gravel in between, for the landing part of it. That's what it seems like to me. Because they're talking about the clear gravel.
Yeah, be 5/8 clear, keeping the pads pervious to water. Pads will be standard 3 foot by 3 inch, something like that.
Yeah, 3 foot by 3 foot.
So yeah, I'm not sure why he needs a variance to add the stairs. But okay. I think we can approve the stairs. I don't have an issue with those. So that would be item 10. But the other ones would need to be deferred. The driveway, I think we should defer until we can review the original construction request and see what we approved there for the driveway. And then the retaining wall and parking area, we also need to defer until we know if Sudden Valley is going to approve it because it's in the right of way. And then item 10, we can vote whether or not to approve that.
Okay,
Is everybody on board with that?
approve item 10, the stairs.
Yeah, so I'll move to approve 10.
I second.
Okay, all those in favor of the stairs?
Aye.
Okay, so item number 10 is approved. And what we can do is we can have Joel talk about the construction approval at the next meeting. So let's mark item 9 and item 8 as deferred for more information. And hopefully we can get a better understanding what the necessity is there for the larger driveway. Okay, item number 11 now. 1 Ridgecrest Way, fence request.
For a privacy fence
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me.
and 6 foot high.
And so, yeah, so lots of questions. Let's have a discussion.
I couldn't tell if these were both the same request.
For you mean item
11
12
and,
and item 11?
Yeah,
11 and 12, there's another.
Yeah, they have another one, but it says it's oh, you mean because they're saying there's a gravel pad that they want to enclose. And then the other one is the fence request. Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
they both look like they're in the same spot.
yeah. That's what I drove by there and it looked like there was just that gravelly area right next to their house, but I didn't see where the other one would be.
I think you're right. I think let's see what April, were they both received on April 7th? Yeah. I drove by, I saw the gravel. I did not see if it was staked out. I didn't see any little flags or anything marking where the fence would go.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But I think my gut tells me this is a solid privacy fence that's 6 feet tall that we wouldn't approve unless there was some kind of an extenuating circumstance to do this.
Yeah, those are pretty solid barriers.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I would be looking to maybe not approve this and tell them that they need to resubmit with a fence design that's approved per our policies. Because it's also a composite fence, which means it's gonna last forever. So it's not like this will get replaced in 5 years or something. This will be around for a while.
Yeah, it looked to me like if they did put it up, it would look like a garage next to the house. It's just a solid wall around that paved or gravel area.
Yeah, maybe to park a boat in.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Cleaning, gardening and see, it's I guess the main thing I am thinking of here is that I love that there's a letter that, he wants to have it for a private space for outdoor activities, but it's a green belt on that side of the house, so there's never going to be a house there. So yeah, I mean, I'm leaning towards I probably wouldn't vote for this as submitted.
Yeah, I agree. We just don't see this kind of fencing here. And it looks a little ominous.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like I said, I can see what he's going for, but I think he can. I think if he looks at the policies, he could easily do the same thing with a fence that's within what's already approved out here. So I just need a motion on what we're gonna do.
Okay, another thing, I guess, well, if the fence is going along the house, then it'll meet that 5-foot setback requirement at least, right?
It should, yes, on the
Yeah.
back. The other side of the concrete pad, he might be a little close. He may need a variance, but again, I didn't see it staked. So I'm not sure how close he was to the property line on that side. So why don't we do this? I will move to defer. And we can send him a message and let him know he needs to submit a new plan with the fence needs to be staked to make sure that it follows the setback requirements on the side with the green belt. And needs to look at the pre-approved fencing types for Sudden Valley, needs to conform to those. That way we're not denying it. We think he can have a fence. It can't be a privacy fence that's just solid panels like that.
Yeah, and maybe clarify, is this 2 fences or, because we have 2 drawings and I'm not sure exactly what he's asking for. And 2
Well,
Yeah,
but if-
requests.
so yeah, we can defer item 11 and 12 since they appear to be the same request. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna mark down is that, does everybody approve of deferring item 11 and
It
12?
looks like in item 12 that they have a gravel pad. Oh, okay, that's on the side of the house. By the
Yep.
gra- I was
Yeah,
thinking,
that 22
they
by
wanna-
14 area is gravel.
yeah, I was thinking what they wanted to do was to concrete the part that would be fenced in there. Well, they do, yes, right?
Yeah, and then when you look at when you look at item 11, it's the same drawing with the door on the side of the house, and they're just marking out how far the posts would be apart from each other.
Right.
And then so it appears to be the same request.
Mhm.
So as long as everybody's on board, we'll defer that and ask him to resubmit with the stakes and make sure it doesn't hit the 5-foot setback and with a pre-approved fencing style. So
Okay,
it's item 11 and 12. 12 deferred.
should we be notified when they have that? We can go out and take a look at it then?
Yeah, because he should get a letter from Sun Valley or email or however we're doing that now. And then he should resubmit with the updates so that we can go check on it. Okay, so item number 13 is 2 Clematis Lane. And I remember this one. This is a resubmittal. I believe we deferred his first request. I did go look at this, and everything's staked out. It looks really nice. And he's switched from a 6-foot privacy fence to the wooden wire. So I think it was a much better choice. It'll look really nice there where he's at. So
How
I
high is
don't
that
have
gonna be? I can't
Say
read
again?
that. How high is the fence going to be? I can't read it off the,
Oh, it says 5 feet on the drawing he included with it. It says 5 feet, which is what we allow, and it's a wooden wire. In
Well,
fact,
no.
it almost looks like he copied it right out of our documents because it was a Google Doc he has open.
well, no, the 5 feet are for the gate. He's putting that 5-foot gate in there. In 2 areas.
The drawing is 5 feet. It's on the next
Yeah, the
page.
drawing of the fence is shows it's going to be 5 feet wooden wire.
The drawing is after the, it's on the
Yeah.
next page.
The
13.1. Yeah, that's the fence drawing is what I'm looking at.
okay. Yeah, mine is blurred. I couldn't tell how high it was going to be.
Yeah, it is blurry.
Yeah, I think that's actually I think that's our document. I think that's copied straight from because it's a
Oh.
Google. If you look at the top, it says open with Google Docs. I think that's the ACC policy manual he's using as his reference.
Okay,
So as long as it's fitting that, as long as it fits that drawing, if it's 5 feet tall, because the original submittal was for a 6-foot tall privacy fence around the entire perimeter of the house.
mhm.
And it's a corner lot house. It's a fairly good sized lot. As you can see, it's a 60-foot long fence and 50 feet on the sides. So the restaking and the reapplication looked much better to me. I don't have any issues with it.
And it meets that 5-foot setback from the property line?
Yeah, from where his stakes are at, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
he had it staked out well inside.
Okay,
So I would move to approve this one as submitted.
all right, my second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, okay. So item 13 is approved, fence request for 2 Clematis Lane. All right, and then we already did item 14. So item 15 is 2 Cayuse Court. And that is a temporary shed. I was confused. Is he just calling it a temporary shed, or is that a type of shed?
That's what I was
Well-
wondering too.
You know, if you look at 15.3, it looks like it's one of those prefab, like a barn type thing. See it there at the top?
Yeah. Which doesn't bother me as long as it's painted the same color as the house and matches. I don't necessarily have an issue with it. It's going to be back far enough that I unless you're looking for it, I don't think you'll
Well,
see
no,
it.
it's gonna be right on the corner of the property, because it's right on the corner of Tumbling Water and Cayuse Court. I rode by there and took a look, and right now there's his vehicle is parked there. And it looks like,
Oh, that's the one I'm thinking. All right, I know which one you're talking about now. I drove by there too.
it looks like he might be using it for storage for his business. He's got a carpet cleaning business that was on the truck was written on the side. But I looked around, behind her on the side, there's no place to really put a shed or anything. The way
Yeah, because he's got a pretty
property's
steep
laid
lot.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
And I think that backs up
see.
to just more woods, right? There's nobody back there, right?
Yeah, there's nowhere to go
Right.
there. If he's gonna paint it the same color as the house, I don't have an issue with it. I would defer to the two of you.
Yeah,
Well,
I feel the same way as long as that it is painted the same color.
even though it'd be
Okay.
at the front corner of the house, I mean, the front corner of the lot. You know, I wonder how his neighbors feel about, you know, having his shed right there.
I wouldn't
Well-
like it if I could see it.
I'm gonna take another, hold on, I've got a couple of pictures I had taken. I'm gonna go back and look, make sure I am thinking of the right spot. I apologize for delaying here. I just want to make sure I'm thinking of the right one that I went by.
And it looks like you might have to take some trees down to be able to fit that in there.
Yeah.
Well, that would be a separate request, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, depending on the size of the trees. If they're evergreen and they're less than 12 inches in diameter, technically he doesn't need a permit.
I don't know, I don't know if you can really tell. There's a picture I took.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm gonna defer.
What's our guidance for this? I mean, personally, I would not want one of those.
Well, typically they're
my-
not supposed to be viewable from the street.
Okay,
Yeah, that's one of the things. I think it's under accessory dwellings. And they have to be the same type, material, and color of the house. Like you can't have one that's cedar and then your house is painted blue
Well, under
and have them sit
14
next to each other.
1411.5 exterior storage, it said all outside storage areas must be screened from view of adjacent properties and roads.
So yeah, but what we
On the
can
corner of
do.
two roads. I'm sorry.
What we can do is we can require that he plant screening, like plant trees around it to grow up and screen it. That can be a requirement of it if you guys are okay with him having the shed. Yeah, that's a difficult spot because of where he's at, and you are correct. It's
Right.
all behind those houses is the Lookout Mountain parking area is just a little ways behind them, and then it's the access road to get up to the towers on top of the mountain. So there's no real place to go in the back, and he's got some interesting topography. I know that the house next to him is basically sandstone, is most of their yard. There's maybe 2 inches of topsoil on the stone.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that's his issue as well. Maybe he can't dig to maybe put it somewhere else. But then he's also got some issues with a lot of trees to move anything in there. He'd have to.
Yeah, I don't
either
think there's
build
really
a place.
any room. It doesn't look like there's room to the side of his house to be able to put it there because the other house is kind of right there. And there's
Mhm.
definitely no room behind. And then, you know, if you go to what is it? If you go to Tumbling Water, that's where his driveway comes in off Tumbling Water. And, you know, I guess my concern is, you know, how do the neighbors feel about this being right on the corner like that? I would, you know, yes,
Well, we can defer and have him get neighbors' opinions of it. I mean, that's absolutely something that's okay.
I mean, I would say that
So I'd
if
be
it's
on
gonna be
board with
so
that.
obvious in the front yard, I mean, we really have to stick to the guidelines that we have. The siding has to be the same, the colors have to be the same, and maybe make an effort to hide it. If it's in the back, you know, I'd feel like we can give them a little leniency, but if it's gonna be right in the front and everybody's gonna see it, I mean, I think we really need to stick to what our guidelines are in our book.
yeah, there's really no room behind to be able to put that in there. That's kind of
Yeah, it's
like the only place to really do it, I guess. But
yeah.
yeah,
Well, and he doesn't have access from Tumbling Water, as I recall. It's a ditch there, right, with a pretty
well, that's
good
where his
cut to
drive
it.
comes in. His drive comes in off Tumbling Water.
Yeah, just over the ditch there. So, but what I'm saying is he wouldn't have access to the shed from Tumbling Water, like he couldn't create a new driveway.
No,
Because as I look, trying to double check here.
you know, he said he wants to do a temporary shed. You know, how long does he plan to have it there?
Yeah, I was gonna say that was my other major question, because it says temporary. Does he just mean it's gonna be there temporarily?
Or the
Or is he just
temporary
calling
shed,
it? Yeah.
you know, that it's not constructed with a foundation and everything like that. I mean, it looks like it's just a portable shed. So, you know, I would
I was
think,
just double checking the topography of the lot.
you know, I would want to have approval by his neighbors.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Why don't we do this? We can defer it and ask him to speak to his neighbors about a shed being in that area. And if he gets, whether it be an email or a letter from his neighbors saying they're okay with it.
And if it's a prefab shed, you know, it looks like it's a prefab thing, something you get from Lowe's or Home Depot and just stuck out there.
Yeah, I saw that. But we've allowed those in the past as long as they're painted.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we can also tell them that it needs to be the same material, like if it's hardy board or something.
Mhm.
But I don't even, I wasn't looking through this. I see he included an order form. And I didn't see, I didn't really go through, but I knew there were some options. I can see there are options for siding and trim, and so he can actually customize if this is what he's ordering. You know, so we can just say that it must be the same siding material and color of the home. So if he's ordering it off this order form, he can customize those parts of the order. Actually, he'll probably have to paint it himself, but yeah, we can absolutely say that it needs to be the same materials and color. So that's what I'm thinking, is we defer it until he gets something from his neighbors saying they're okay with it. And the other note I would add would be, is it a temporary, and if temporary, what does that mean? Does that
Right,
mean it's gonna be
yeah.
there for 6 months or a year or longer?
Yeah, should we
so
put,
just-
I don't know, if this is something maybe to store his business, his carpet cleaning stuff in, is this a temporary thing until, he gets a storage facility someplace to store it, or, what's gonna be in there, how
Yeah.
to be temporary for?
Well, yeah, and that seems that seems weird to me. Like if you're just looking for something till you find a storage facility or a business to put it all, I think buying a shed and dropping it in your yard is probably the most expensive way you can do that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just my thought, but yeah, so if we can get some explanation about that, that'd be good too. And so I'm just writing down 15 deferred. Does everybody approve of the deferral?
yes,
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to know more about what the plans are.
All right, so more information on the temporary and input from the neighbors about having a shed that's visible from their houses.
and to make sure it meets the siding material and color.
Yep, and siding material and color. Perfect. All right. So 15 is deferred with those notes. Okay, item 16, 8 Autumn Vista Place. This was a fence request. Nice sketch. I was impressed. And it looked to me that everything met all of our requirements. It's in the back of the yard. It's within the 5-foot setbacks. It's a 5-foot hog wire and wood fence. Yeah, it would be barely visible from the road. Any questions or comments on it? Everything looked good to me on this request.
Does that look like the entire property is being fenced in?
Well,
No,
he said,
no, it's the
lot.
back third.
Oh, I
They've
see.
got a
Okay, yeah,
detached
I was just
garage.
looking at the pins. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah,
just that part on the right side behind the actual house.
yeah, that's good.
And a 5-foot gate there on the side, looks like, and then 2 3-foot gates. So they're not driving a boat or a car back there, so that's good. So I don't have any proof. I'd move to approve that one. If everybody, unless anyone has any
A
other
second.
questions. Oh, man. I broke my pen. All right, so item 16, all those that approve.
Aye.
Hi, Wayne.
Hi there.
All right, item 16 is approved. All right, and that looks like that's it. Anything else that I'm missing?
no, looks like Wayne got in here just in time.
Sweet. I like it. All right, well then I move to adjourn. That's it.
Second,
All right. So the meeting's adjourned. We can stop the recording.